everybody, and welcome back to the 2018 Granny Square Crochet Along. Now today we are making a corner to corner birthday cake. So now actually would be a great moment if you want to take a screenshot for future reference. Okay, so you can choose to do any flavour of cake you like. I've got a chocolate cake going on here and I've got a lemon cake going on here, and today I'm going to do a strawberry cake. So what you will need is, you will need for your background colour, you will need 3 working pieces of yarn. This might sound a bit a lot of yarn and a bit scary, but don't worry, we will work through it together. So you need 3 lots of your background colour. One of them just needs to be enough for just one small block. So these squares here, we call these blocks, okay? So you need enough for one block and then some to do, so here, so to do half of it and some to do the other half, okay? So that's your background colour. You need 3 working yarns for that. And then I am going to have for my plate, I am having this yellow to do my cake plate. So if I bring this in here, this cake plate here. So I'm going to need a colour for your cake plate. You need a colour for your cake. So this is my strawberry cake. So we've got background. Here we go. So we've got background, plate, cake. Then you need a colour for your candle, so I'm going to have a blue candle. And then you need enough for, again, one block. You need something for your flame. So here I've got a strand of yellow and a strand of orange mixed together, and that makes quite a nice flame effect. Or you could just use orange or yellow on its own. So altogether you need 5 colours, okay? Just bring that picture in, this in here once more so you can have a look, take a screenshot and decide on your colours. And of course the other things I've got going on are my scissors, my hook, and of course my coffee. I'm having coffee today because I'm feeling a bit sleepy, so some good caffeine in there to keep me going. Okay, now on a C2C, if you need a bit more help, about 2 or 3 days ago we did a heart square with corner to corner design, and you work it in exactly the same way, just how you change your colours depends on your design. So if you need a bit more help, have a look back at that video. I will give you a brief introduction to how we're going to do it today. And help you as much as possible, but there will be a lot more information in that previous video should you need it. Okay, so basically we are going to start in this corner here and we are going to work our way up and down diagonally along the rows, okay? And then we're going to end up on this half, we increase it going along, and then as we get to halfway we start to decrease it and bring it into a square. Okay, so that's the basic idea of what we're going to do today. So as always, you need to start with your slip knot. So get your background colour and start with a slip knot. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so you need your slip knot. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this first square down here and then the next row of 2. So the way we start on a C2C is we have our slip knot, and then because we're going to be making the rows increase, we have to do 6 chains. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chains. And now we use 3 as kind of our turning chain. So we're going to work into the 4th chain from the hook. So we're going to go into the 4th chain and we are going to do a double crochet. I'm using US terms here. So we're using doing a double crochet in there and then a double crochet in the next 2 chains along. So you will end up with your chain of 3 and 3 double crochet. So there is your first block. Now it's not quite square shape at the moment, but it will become a bit more square shape. And each of these we will call a block, okay? So that's your first one, that is your row 1 completed. And now to move up to make row 2, we need to do a chain 6 because we're increasing. 4, 5, 6. And then again, you're going to go into your 4th chain from the hook and do a double crochet. And into the next chain, do a double crochet. And into the next chain, do a double crochet. There we go. Don't forget, if you need to slow this video down, up in the top or just below, there's a function there. You can slow the video right down. And don't forget, you can also pause and rewind as well if you need to re-watch something. Okay, so now what you're going to do is we need to join these together to start making the rows. So what we're going to do is flip up this first one, flip up, and then in this space here from this chain, you're going to pop your hook in and do a slip stitch. And there we go, there's your first block of your next row. Okay, so now we're going to do, we don't need to do a chain of 6 to bring it round again, because this is in the middle of the row. So we're going to do chain of 3. So chain 3, and then over this chain space, we are going to do our 3 double crochets. So instead of doing it into the chain, we're doing it into the chain space. So 3 double crochet into that chain space. And there we go. So that is our round 2. Now I'm just going to pull that loop up there. If you look at your first block, your round, your row 1, if you turn it over and find your right side, and this is my right side here, this will always be in the bottom right hand corner, and your tail will be coming out here to the side. But one way that you can remember which is the right side, because your work will be twisting, turning, upside down. So one way to remember is find your first block, get it on the right side, and then maybe take a piece of yarn or a stitch marker and just pop that through on this right side, so that you will always know which is the bottom corner, where is the right side. So I know now, if it's like this, I know that's wrong, but if it's like this, I know that's the right side. Okay, so there's just that handy little tip there for you. So we've done our second row. Okay, so it's time for our third row now, and we're going to do, we're here, so we're working back down. Okay, so we're here, third row. We need to do one background, one colour of our plate, and another background. So we're going to start with our background where we are here. So I'm going to chain 6 because we're still increasing. 6, and again work into your 4th chain and do a double crochet and 2 more double crochets into those next 2. Let's do 2 more double crochets along. There we go. And there we go, so there's our first block. And then as before, you're going to flip up this previous row into that chain and do a slip stitch. And there is the start of row 3. So now you need to bring in the colour for your plate. Now my plate is going to be this yellow. So bring in your plate colour, and what you're going to do is you want to try and keep all the tails of colours, and any strands we're going to try and keep at the back of our work. So get this tail of your plate colour, put it over at the back. Okay, so we've got it hanging over at the back there. Hold on to that, and then what you're going to do is pull this through your pink loop, and then get your pink yarn and just pull that down nice and tightly so that that sort of it goes almost invisible here against the block, okay? And then we've got our pink tail at the back and our loop here. Okay, so we're going to do one block of this, so we do 3 chains, and then I'm going to work a little bit over my tail just to help secure that slightly. So then you're going to do 3 double crochet in your plate colour. So where are we? Oops. Excuse me, getting a bit confused there. 3 double crochets in your plate colour. Okay, there we go. And then you're going to slip stitch into this chain space here of the next block down. And the next one we want to do is another of our background. Now this isn't very far to carry this strand over, but it will be as we move along. So I've got my yarn that I'm using for that one there. I'm going to put it over this side here, and then I'm going to bring in my second ball of background colour, and I am going to join that down here. So again, put your tail to the back, and as we did for the yellow, you're going to pull this strand through that loop, and then you're going to pull down on your yellow to close this loop here. Okay, so we're just going to close that loop down right there, so it goes right down against the work. And then you're going to do one block with your new background colour. So chain 3, 3 double crochets in this chain space. It's a really simple pattern of doing the corner to corner. The only complicated thing, or slightly complicated thing, is when we're doing colour changes. But generally you're just doing chains and double crochets and slip stitches. So remember, this is the front corner, so we bring it down here, and this is what we've got going on so far. Okay, now we are on to row 4. So we need to do one block in this background colour, so we're increasing again, so we need to do 6 chains, 4, 5, 6, and then you're going to work your block just as you have done before, 3 double crochets from the 4th, 5th and 6th chain, and I will meet you back in a second. Okie dokie, so I've done that first block there. Now you will have a lot of strands going on. Don't worry about these. Some of you might like to be really organised with them. I just get on with it and untangle them at the end. So we're going to do what we've done before and flip this work up and slip stitch into this chain space here. Okay, so a slip stitch into there. Okay, now the next one we're going to do is one of our plate. So we drop that pink strand down, and then if you look here, you've got your plate colour just here. So all we're going to do is bring this over. If I show you here, you're going to bring it over through that loop there, and then you're just going to pull that pink strand down tightly. Okay, and that's how you do your colour change there. And you need to do one block in this back and this plate colour. So do your one block, chain 3, do your block, and I'll meet you back in a moment. Okay, so there's our block done, and as before you're going to do a slip stitch into this next block here. So do a slip stitch into there, and there's your block. And now we are doing 2 of our background colour, so we're going to be bringing this strand up here. Now make sure these strands always stay to the back where possible. Okay, so we're just going to bring this strand over and into that loop there, pull that yellow loop down, or whatever colour you're using, pull that down, and then do your block. So you're going to do 2 blocks of this colour. Remember to do your 3 chains and slip stitch into your chain. So 2 blocks of this, and I'll meet you back in a second. Okay, so I've done my 2 blocks, and this is what it looks like from the front. So our next row, we need to do 2 more blocks of this background colour. So do your chain 6 and then do 2 blocks of this background colour. Okay, and I'll meet you back for the next change. And it is time, after these 2 blocks, it is time to bring in our cake colour. So what kind of cake are you doing today, guys? You're doing chocolate cake, coffee cake, strawberry cake? Maybe you could use a flecked yarn and do a chocolate chip cake. I can't wait to see your photos. I honestly can't wait to see your photos in the group. In the description box below, there's a link to our Facebook group where you can get the patterns of all our squares each day and upload your photos. So let's get back to making our cake, shall we? So I've joined in my colour with the tail at the back and just slipped it through this loop here. Okay, so you're going to do 1 block of this cake. So don't forget, that's 3 chains, and then work along. So 1 block of your cake. Okay, so I've got my strawberry cake going on here now, and now we're going to change back to do 1 block of our plate. Now, because this is the front, we know from our stitch marker this is the front, and any strand of yarn we want at the back. So before we slip stitch this together, just pop this piece of yarn to the back. Okay, most colour changes are almost invisible, but you will have the odd strand or 2 that will just show slightly. Okay, so we're going to put those to the back. So just slip stitch that colour there, and then bring your plate colour back up from the back and slip that into that, slip that into that loop there, and pull that down, and there you go, there's your colour change. So you're going to do 1 more block of your plate colour, and then you're going to pop this strand here behind, and then you're going to do your slip stitch and 1 block of your background. Okay, so one block of your plate and 1 block of background, and I will meet you after that. And here we go, I've done my plate and my background, and if you turn it over, and you can see just here there is a bit of a strand going on, but not much, and it will end up being almost invisible, so don't worry about that. Now you need to do 1 more block of this background colour. So you need to just get your yarn here, do your chain 6 because we're still increasing, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then do your block, and I'll meet you in a moment. Okay, so I've done my block, and now we're back onto our plate colour. So I've just taken this yarn from here and slipped it over into this loop here and pulled down on my pink. Okay, so now we're going to do 1 block in our plate colour. So do your 1 block of plate colour. 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to do this quickly here. Pause it if you need to catch up. So don't forget to work over these strands that you have going on here. Okay, so do your 1 block of plate colour, drop that down, and then we're back to our cake. Okay, so just slip stitch that into there actually. Okay, so we're going to bring our cake colour across here and loop that into there, as we have done with all our other colour changes. Loop that into there, pull your yellow or whatever your plate colour is, and we are going to do 2 blocks of our cake colour. So do 2 blocks of cake, and then you're going to do 2 blocks of your background colour. So when you've done your 2 blocks, you're just going to bring this strand up and join that in for your background, and then do 2 more blocks of that. So 2 cake and 2 background, and I will meet you at the end. Okay, I've done my 2 blocks there, so I've got my cake and my background, and I've just organised my yarn again. I've just untangled it just before we go on too much further. So now we're going to work back down for row 7, and for row 7 we need to do 2 blocks of our background colour, and then we need to do 3 cake, 2 background and 3 cake. And I'll meet you back when you've done those, so you don't have to remember too much. So 2 blocks of your background. Don't forget you need to do your chain of 6, and then you're going to change your colour and do your cake. So 2 background and 3 cake, and I'll meet you back in a moment. Okay guys, so I've done my 2 background colour and 3 of cake. And now it's time to do one of our plates and one of our background. So I've just joined in my plate colour. So do 1 block of plate and 1 block of background. And don't forget to bring these strands behind because we're working on the front. So bring these strands behind before you join in. Okay, so 1 of each, and I'll meet you back in a sec. Okay, so we've done those. So now for our row going back up, which is row 8, we are going to do 8 blocks, and we're going to have 1 of our background, 1 of our plate, and 3 cake. So just as we have done on this last bit here, so 1, 1 and 3. Okay, and I will leave you to do that. Don't forget, do your 6 chains here, 6 chains, and then as you would do previously. So 1, 1 and 3, and I'll meet you back up here. And here we go guys, I've worked my way up here, and now I've just changed back to my background colour, slip that through there, that pink, and now you're going to do 3 blocks of your background colour. So pause the video, do your 3 blocks of background colour, and I will meet you at the end of this row. So here's what we've got going on. We've got 8 rows done so far, and you can see it developing nicely with the play, the background and the cake. So we're going to work back down now for row 9, and what you're going to do is your 6 chains to increase your row, and then you're going to do 4 blocks of background colour, 3 blocks of cake, and then it's going to be 1 of each of our plate and our background. So up here, 4 blocks of background, 4 and 3. Okay, 4, 3, 1, 1. I'll meet you back down here somewhere. Okay, so 4, 3, 1 and 1. See you in a mo. Okay, so I've done my 4 and 3, and I'm just back to remind you that you now need 1 of your plate and 1 of your background. Okay, see you in a sec. Okay, there we go. That's the end of row 9. And that's the end of our plate as well. So I'm just going to snip off a few inches of this plate colour, and get that one out of the way. That's 1 less strand of yarn to be worrying about, so get rid of that. And then what we'll do is on the next row, when we come up here, we'll just work over this tail slightly, and then we'll work it in when we've finished and when we're sewing our ends in. Okay, so there we go. So now we have finished with all of our increased rows. This is as big as the square gets, 9 blocks by 9 blocks. So now we're going to be closing the square in along the top and along the side. So we don't do any more chain 6s, no more chain 6s, okay? We're doing what's known as the decrease now, because each row was getting bigger as we went along here, but now it's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. So we started with 1 block, and we're going to gradually end with 1 block, okay? So for our next row, what we're going to do is, instead of chaining 6, what you're going to do is turn your work over, and then in each of these double crochets here, in each of these double crochets, you're going to do a slip stitch, okay, because you need to get this yarn over to this space. So you're going to do a slip stitch in each of these 3 double crochets here, just to work your way back without increasing, and then you're going to do 1 in this chain space, a slip stitch in there, and that's brought your yarn over to this space here, ready for you to do your block in exactly the same way as you have done previously. So excuse me, it will be just like you're doing one in the middle of a row where you're going to chain 6. So going to chain, well, you chain 3, sorry, 3, 1 2 3, so chain 3, and then you do your 3 double crochets into this chain space just as you normally would. Okay, so we just do those slip stitches at the start and then we carry on just as normal. Okay, so you need one more block of this colour, so one more block of this colour, and then we'll do a colour change. Okay, so I've done my 2 blocks of row 9 in my background, and now I've just joined in my cake colour, and we're going to do 2 blocks of this cake, so 2 blocks of cake, and then you need your candle colour. So pause the video, do those 2 blocks and get your candle colour ready. Okay, so I've done my 2 blocks of cake, and now I've got my blue candle. So your candle colour, we're working on the back, so our stitch marker is on the other side, so make sure you've got your tail of your candle colour on this back, and then if I can get my yarn, I'm going to pull that through, pull that through that pink loop just as we have done before, and where's my pink? There we go, pull this pink down, close that in there. Oops, just like we do on all the other colour changes, okay? And then we're going to do 1 block of this candle. So work over, just bring that other colour around to the front that you did your cake with. Okay, just there's a few strands going on here, but don't worry. As I've said before, it will work out. So you're going to do 1 block of this candle colour. So work over this tail just to help start securing it. Okay, so I'm just going to do this block together. 1 2 3. There we go. So there's your first block of your candle. And now you are going to do 1 2 3 blocks of your background colour. So drop that one down. Oops, I need to do our slip stitch first. So I've drunk my coffee and I'm still getting confused. Sometimes there's just no hope. Okay, so bring your background colour up and loop that through there. Pull your blue or whatever colour your candle is. Where are we? Pull that one down tight, just as we always do. And then you're going to do 3 blocks of your background colour. And I'll meet you up at the top. Okay, there we go, that's row 10 done. So for row 11 we need to turn our work and then we need to do our slip stitches back along here to take us back into our working space because we're not increasing anymore. So do your 4 slip stitches along here, 1 2 3 and 1 in the chain space, 4 slip stitches, and then you're back ready to work in this space here. So you now need to do 2 blocks of this background colour, and then you're going to bring in your candle colour and do 1 block of your candle. So 2 background and 1 of your candle. Okay guys, so we've done our candle here and those blocks there, and now this is where you need just your small piece of background colour. We're going to do just 1 block in this because our other strands are just a bit too far away to carry over neatly. Okay, so we're just going to do this 1 strand. So pop your tail at the back as we have done on all the other colours, and then just bring this colour up and through that blue, and then pull that colour there. Where are we? There we go. Pull that colour down and then work your block, work over your tail to help secure it, and do this 1 block in your background colour, and I'll see you in a second. Okay guys, so what I've done is I've done my one block here, and then I've slipped in my cake colour just here. You can probably see just here I've slipped in my cake colour. So that was all we needed of this one. We just needed this one block. So I'm going to cut that colour off and then take that strand out of the way. And then we've also done with our candle as well. So I'm going to snip the candle off as well. Get rid of that. It's always nice getting rid of all those balls of yarn. And what I'm going to do here with these cake, with this one background colour, I'm just going to lightly knot that, and also with my candle, just so that we know they are there and they are secure and they're not going to go anywhere. Just knot them in, well, just tie them in loosely together. Just for now. Okay, so we've got 3 working ends going on at the moment. So what we're going to do next is one block of cake. You can probably see it here. We have got one block of cake that needs finishing, and then we are going to do 2 blocks of background. So one block of cake and 2 background blocks, and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, so I've done those blocks going down, and when I've cut off my cake colour and I worked my tail under this block for that block. So we now need to do 4 blocks of this background colour. So I've just turned my work and slip stitched my way back along here, and now you're going to do 4 blocks of this background colour and then get your candle flame colour ready. So 4 blocks of background and have your flame colour ready. Okay, so I've got my 4 blocks of background, and now we're going to do our flame. Now I really like the effect of using a yellow and an orange together for our flame. It gives a nice effect, but you can use whatever colour flame you like. And as always, we're going to pop these tails at the back here and bring them through our previous loop, and then pull that one, pull that one down. Get the right one, pull that one down tight there. Okay, now because this is 2 strands, it's going to be thicker, so you can either choose to go down a hook size and continue doing your 3 double crochets as normal, or you can choose to do 2 double crochets to fill in this space, or you can just carry on as usual. And like mine here, it has kind of spread out a bit, it's a lot thicker than and a bit wider than the usual blocks. So I'm going to do 2 double crochet into this one, so it will look a bit different to this, but we'll see how we go. So do your 3 chains as usual, and you'll see it's a lot thicker to work with. And then I'm going to work over my tail and do 2 double crochets. Okay, so it is a lot thicker to work with, but I love the effect of the 2 colours together. So there's my 2 double crochet, and you can see how it fills that space out nicely. Okay, so slip stitch into the next block, and we're going to do 2 more blocks of our background. So slip that one in there and do 2 blocks of your background. No, 1 block of background, I'm sorry, 1 block of background, and I'll meet you after this 1 block. And that was our pink block there. So I've just turned the work and slip stitched back across. Now I've cut the colour for the flame. I'm just going to put my hook in there and bring those tails to the back. And now it gets so much easier. No more colour changes. Your cake is done, your plate is done, your candle and your flame are done. So you've got your working yarn here at the top, and then you've got this piece of yarn here. So cut this, leaving a length for a tail to sew in. Cut that one off, and you can get rid of that one. So we now have just 1 piece of yarn we're working with. Hallelujah! So you are going to just work back, and you're going to go down here, and you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And then you're going to, you can work this tail in as you go. So you're going to do 5 blocks, then you're going to turn your work, slip stitch back along, and then you're going to do 4 blocks, slip stitch back, 3 blocks, slip stitch, 3 blocks, slip stitch, 2 blocks, slip stitch, 1 block. So you're going to work your way up the rows, going from 5 to 4 to 3 to 2 to 1. And I will meet you back for our last block. Hey guys, so I'm back for the last block. And just as I'm finishing this very last block, just to tell you that if you would like to join our Facebook group for 2018 Granny Square Crochet Along. I know this isn't strictly a granny square, but hey, 6-inch squares we should call it really. The 6-inch square club. So if you would like to see what's going on there, we have a new pattern for a square every day, and a new video tutorial, and all of that going on. So the description is in the bit below, and if you found this useful and helpful, and you've liked this video, give us a thumbs up. And yeah guys, if you haven't subscribed, then click on that subscribe button, and you'll know when we've got new videos out, and come and join the fun. So there is your cake finished, fasten off there these, and there you go guys. So don't forget, until next time, just keep cooking and don't let your tea get cold.